concluded FMG exam with a score of 173. So he is here to share his experience of giving the exam and also how MEDED GTs and the other contents in the MEDED helped him prepare for the exam. So let us get into it without wasting our time. Ashwin, first of all, a big congratulations. I understand the value of this result.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, and the second thing,
Yes.
apart from congratulating you, I would also extend the regards to your parents, because I understand that this journey for an FMG student is very special and different from doing an MBBS in India, because parents have to send you away from home
Yes.
to another country. So obviously it brings in a lot of uncertainty and anxiety to them. And apart from that, because FMG results are slightly abysmal, it
Yes, sir.
always keeps them guessing what would happen when my kid comes back to home. So first of all, you have relieved their stress by cracking this exam. So convey my regards to them. And then let me ask a basic question.
Yes.
So as I understand, you did your MBBS from Mauritius. So how was it studying away from home?
Sir, first of all, like good evening to everyone, and thanks a lot, sir, and thanks a lot to Physics File Media team, sir. And sir, actually, it was very doing MBBS from Mauritius. It was didn't knew about the place and didn't knew about the country existed before, but just got to know about the college and finally got to know there were some good results from the college and good reviews, and we went there confidently and somehow managed to do it, sir. And my college name is SSR Medical College. It's in Mauritius only. And there are only two colleges which in Mauritius, sir. It's one among them, and it's being the oldest college in Mauritius.
Okay. So like you started preparing for the FMG exam right from your college days, or once you've completed your local degree and then came back to India and
No,
then.
sir. Actually, I'll say that I was. I can say properly I started after college, sir. But keeping in mind that there's an exam post
You have
MBBS,
to clear.
so I prepared in that motive. I was mainly focusing on concepts on during my college years, sir. So that since from my second year, I was focusing more on my concepts, so that I don't lack anything in my. I shouldn't be struggling here to manage. So that was the only thing in my mind, sir. But didn't give much of pressure to FMG, sir. But just I was just focusing on the concepts to gain all the concepts as I'll be during
So
my college.
you cleared it in the very first attempt, right?
Yes, sir. This is my
Okay.
first.
So during your MBBS, you followed the standard textbooks or some locally available notes apart from the MEDED.
No, sir. It's all standard textbooks, sir. It's all standard textbooks and MEDED. I did it in final years. I used it in final year. I watched videos of OBG and medicine, sir, and even a little of surgery, sir. These three I mainly, because in final year only MEDED, NEET PG and FMG came for
Okay.
first. Before it was only for NEET UG. But I was focusing, since I was focusing on concepts, I want to be reading all the concepts from a textbook rather than notes which someone has written or someone has left. So I didn't want to leave anything. So I just focused on reading textbooks, and it was we use the textbooks as same as what Indian students did it. All same textbooks since start of the year of Visham Singh till final year data, everything we did same OP guy.
You had the access to Indian books there, or you had to buy when you're back home?
Sir, actually, many people we used to bring it from India only, sir. But we
Okay.
can buy textbooks from Mauritius only. But the
Okay.
only factor was why people don't buy there is it's a bit comparatively
Okay.
expensive compared to India. But we get
Okay.
all the textbooks, sir. All the textbooks.
All Indian authors are.
Yes, everything will get, sir.
That's good to know.
Yes, sir.
So the local Mauritius students also follow Indian authors?
Yes, sir. That's the thing here. They also
Oh,
follow the
great.
same textbooks. They read the same set of authors and everything.
So that's a great journey for India, starting from following Western authors to now some other countries following Indian authors.
Yes, sir.
Great
Seriously,
journey.
it's actually an Indian college. So it's run by Indian. I
Indian
think it's
diaspora.
Indian. No. And even the staffs are Indians only. The main professors and HODs, they're all Indians only. Even the principal is Indian. Everyone is Indian, sir. It's just a Indian college running in a different country, sir. That's what I
Mm.
can say.
So, how did you manage your time during the MBBS and post once you seriously sat to prepare for FMG after your course?
Sir, actually, during MBBS, it was still studying, just focusing on the four exams or three exams per year and concepts and postings. Sir. But post MBBS, once we came back to India and thinking of FMG, it was all 19 and 6 months. It was a
Mm.
bit. It gave us more pressure and
Anxiety, yeah.
it was very stressful, sir. Initially, at the month of Jan, when I came back, it was very hard to think of even studying 19 subjects in 6 months. And I asked my seniors, and even they suggested some like how to do and all.
Mm.
And uh, but what they said is just do go with Q banks and all the GTs, because solving questions is the main priority here, rather than just keep on studying notes. And Q banks and GTs were the helpful thing.
So, like, what was the average score you were getting on the MEDED GTs?
Sir, I was getting it depends, sir. There were some easy papers I got even on 80, on 90 and all, and there were some very hard papers. I even got 145, 150, sir.
Okay.
But those hard papers were like very stressful.
Look,
Uh,
if you're hitting 140 plus on a hard paper, that means you're on the path to sail through
yes,
the
yes, sir, yes,
exam.
sir,
So
yes, sir.
obviously, GTs has to be set from easy to hard so that you know as a student your range, and you should also know where to concentrate more on. Okay, so one question I want to ask you is because it's a standard tendency among not only FMG but NEET PG, even INI CET students that final subjects are bulky, so they
Yes, sir.
tend to omit, and the preferred subject to omit, not to touch, is medicine. And then they start like okay, I'll consider small subjects, first year, second year subjects, omit medicine, and I will only answer based on some logic or whatever I understand so far from MBBS. So, how did you tackle medicine?
No, sir. Actually, my when I started preparing for this FMG journey, sir, my only thing in my mind was to complete all the 19 subjects.
Yeah, okay.
Because on the day of exam, I shouldn't have any FOMO that I left this,
Yeah.
and what if this comes more or difficult? How will I manage? So I didn't want that to happen. So I completed all the 19 subjects. And as you said, sir, leaving medicine and going for FMG or any medical exam, I think it's not appropriate, sir. I'll say that they have to definitely do medicine, like however it is huge or it. Yeah, of course, it is very vast subject, sir. But still, they have to do medicine, sir, because it links with many other. Even they can solve
Yes.
questions of surgery, even OBG. Some questions they can solve. Sir. That's what I felt after studying medicine.
To be
That is a
very
must-do
frank,
subject.
yeah, see, to be very frank, no, quitting some subject should not affect much, but
Yes, sir. Yes,
the
sir.
way the boards conduct the exam is quite unpredictable. So
Yes,
sometimes
sir.
one
Yes,
subject gets undue weightage, and for your bad luck, if that happens to be medicine in that
yes, sir.
particular year, then
It's
it will become very difficult. So
it's
in
very
fact,
difficult, sir.
this time there were reasonably higher number of questions from medicine
Yes,
compared
sir.
to the previous
Surgery, there were
exam.
high number of questions, sir. And also we feel this medicine also there was high number of questions.
Yeah,
But surgery was felt even more difficult, I said.
yeah, yeah.
But
Difficulty level was yes, and I
yes,
think
sir.
PSM questions were quite less this time
Yes, sir.
compared
This
to the
time,
previous exam.
yes, sir.
Previous
Because
exam
they
there was
say
heavy
around
weightage in PSM.
yes, they say around 30 to 35 comes in PSM and surgery medicine. But I felt PSM was around 15 to 20, I guess,
Yeah,
sir. I'm
yeah.
not sure.
I think from the recall, as I remember, around 13 or 14 questions were from
Yes, sir.
PSM. So that's quite a low number. So
Yes,
those
sir.
who had
Yes,
invested heavily on the PSM would have
yes, sir.
had a
Yes,
hard
sir.
time.
Of course, sir.
That's also an important thing, right? Like we need to balance.
Yes,
So
sir.
completely quitting a subject is not a logical choice according to me. But one can decide whether to give a heavy weightage or just do some important topics. But something should be done from every subject. That's
Yes, sir.
my take.
So that's what, sir. As we can't predict how the questions
Yeah,
come
yeah,
and how the examiner thinks of setting papers, well, depending upon the weightage. So it's better to do all the subjects and go. So that's the only thing I'll prefer. I'll suggest all the upcoming students. It's very uh,
yeah,
we can't handle the exam day stress. So
yeah.
what if the subject which we didn't do it and it comes more and we
Yeah.
feel even more stress? And
Basically, that's the thing. See, more than handling the exam or exam day, it's like handling the examiners because
yes,
their
sir.
mood decides how much weightage a particular subject gets in the exam.
Yes,
Whatever pro forma is there, it is invariably not followed.
yes, sir.
They
Yes, sir.
don't give that exact prescribed weightage to individual
Yes, sir.
subjects.
Yes,
It
sir.
is better to be an all-rounder rather than
Definitely,
a
sir.
master of one subject and then faltering on the
At
other.
least something of everything, sir. That will do
Yeah.
good.
I think that works for most of the students rather than someone who is trying to be a master of some subjects and then know nothing about some other.
Yes.
Okay. Now, another thing that students generally tend to ask is how many revisions you did.
Sir, I did properly. I did a minimum of two revisions.
Okay.
And my third revision was just 2 days before exam, sir. So the
Okay.
third revision was it was a skimmed revision. I go through all the important PYTs and
So,
uh,
what was your strategy of skimming? Because see, skimming is very, very important because obviously third revision cannot be exhaustive.
yes,
Most of
sir.
the people, especially see, the FMG is a very standardized thing. You come to India, you have roughly 6 months time for the next exam, and then even if you don't crack it, you have another 6 months. So all preparation happens in cycles of 6 months only.
Yes,
So in
sir.
that 6 months, you should do one round of study and then at least two rounds of revision. That had been the standard for whoever cracked the exam. Third revision if possible. So from first to second, some second to third, there should be some skimming. Otherwise, you can't do a thorough revision. So what was your strategy? Like you identified your gray areas to revise, or
Yes,
you
sir.
concentrated
Yes,
on
sir.
important areas that even if I remember, I would revise.
Sir, actually, while start from the start of my preparation phase itself, I made a separate notebook, sir. They
Okay.
usually say it's 20th notebook or
Yeah.
revision book, something.
Mhm.
So so whatever I studied, whatever I feel I'll be forgetting and I lack in the concepts or I lack in the remembrance of the topics. So I'll write it down the topics in a simpler manners so that it'll be easy. So it came around, I think it came around 120, 130 pages, sir.
Okay.
So the last 2 days, the last day, I was just studying only that 130. And after finishing my exam, I felt that even from that 130 pages, something came around 10 questions, I guess, sir.
That sometimes for some students that's like make or break deal, right? Even that 10
Yes, sir. Yes,
questions,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
especially those
You
who are
can
stuck
decide.
at 143, 144, they
Yes,
understand
sir.
that
Yes,
10
sir.
questions.
So that helped me a lot, and but this was the first time I'm doing such type of preparation, sir. So it was very helpful, sir. I'll prefer students doing that. It is a very difficult task at this initial phase,
Yeah.
but at the end we won't regret it, sir. That's what I can say.
Okay. So like when you were solving the MEDED Q bank, did you complete all the modules or you chose selectively to do modules?
Sir, I made sure that I did all the
Okay.
all the PYQs which came for past 5 years,
Mhm.
and so I was not having any FOMO that I left anything. I didn't knew these topics, and so I just made sure that I completed all the PYQs. And in Merit Q banks, which was helpful is along with questions, the explanations were very good. I I suggest that explanations are very good, and it helped me in solving another question which I didn't even study
Yes,
also.
I think ultimately that is what we should learn from a question, not just what is the right answer,
Yes, sir.
but some
Yes, sir.
essence from the question so that even when the examiners twist the question or ask something based on the same concept, we should be able to deal with it. And in fact, I keep telling that FMG students that FMG is, I say it like Shabdon ka jal or it's a word play.
Yes, sir.
Basically, they just flip the sentences or
Yes,
words
sir.
asking the very similar concept or a similar question which has been already tested multiple times. But the way they reframe it, right? if you do not understand how to decode that reframing, then students will struggle like, okay, I don't know anything on this. So when you see different languages, like question is in a language, but the way answer is built or the way explanation is given, if it follows a different language, then you learn the examiner's language.
Definitely, sir.
And all MCQ games are basically
Yes, sir.
understanding the examiner's language.
Yes, sir. I
How did you
feel that.
break your time between
Yes,
theory and question bank work?
sir, actually, I was trying to solve questions every day, but later then I realized I'll complete a subject and I'll do that subject MCQs, question banks and all. So that helped me very well, sir. So at least I'll complete a subject within 2 to 3 days. Then I'll do a question bank, or maybe in mid if I get bored, and
Mhm.
I'll do a question bank. But most probably I was keeping at evenings or evening where I'll be after refreshing myself from a break for a long study. Then I'll do questions. Then I was
Yeah.
doing.
See, I think you followed a very important strategy, which I often keep telling to the students, but many students don't get it. So when you solve a Q bank, one module, after studying one particular topic, because you're fresh from the topic and you also kind of know the basic concept, you will feel like you're getting most of the questions right.
Yes, sir.
But when the question comes in the exam, right, they're not telling you, okay, this is from myopathy or this is from
Yes, sir.
stroke. That is where you get lost because some closely related options will be there. So only when you solve QBank after doing at least few chapters and then club all of them and then
Yes, sir.
solve 3, 4 modules, that way you will be able to test yourself whether you understood the core concept well. And if examiner tries to confuse you with differentials, whether you will be able to dissect it or not. Most
It was.
students, what they do is like, okay, I read one chapter, it's just a 15 minutes, 2 page notes. I read and then I go to the Q bank. There will be 4 questions. I will get all the 4 questions right because I've just read it
Yes, sir.
and I know the basics superficially. But
The
the same thing, if you
interpretation
ask
was
me
good,
after
sir.
one day, I may not be able to crack it.
Yes, sir. I felt the interpretation after studying minimal topics, then solving questions, it was good, sir. And it also helps us in it's a spaced repetition, sir. So we
Yeah,
can.
exactly. Exactly. So solving Cuban should be part of the revision or a repetition strategy
Yes,
rather than just a testing strategy. So if you place it nicely after completing some chunk of syllabus and then spending time on the Cuban, it becomes, as you said, a spaced repetition, your ability to test the core concepts, and at the same time understanding the examiner's language, how the questions are framed. That's a good strategy. The alternate strategy I suggest for someone who is a non-starter is solve the questions first and then go to the studying the topic. So
okay, sir.
that way also you will understand, okay, these are points which are being repeatedly asked in the questions and you will register. So you followed a very scientific strategy. Okay, now coming to the examination hall experience. So this time the exam was broken into segments of 50 each. So
Yes,
how do you
sir.
see that? Like, was it cumbersome to you or it was more of a convenience?
Sir, 50, actually, sir, during my preparation phase, myself and my friend, we both studied together, sir. So we used to solve, we practice, we made sure that we'll solve 50 questions at a time.
Okay.
Even when giving GTs, we shouldn't get disturbed for that 150 and 50 segments. So on the exam day, it was very easy for us to solve that 50 questions. And I felt that concentrating 50 at a time was very good. Rather
Mm.
than giving us a big thought that there's a 150 set of questions and I have to focus on that.
Yes.
50 at a time is good, I felt, sir.
I think
And
most of the students I interviewed had the
yes,
same
sir.
opinion that it was more of a convenience than a cumbersome task.
When they brought that rule, sir, I initially had a fear that like they're bringing new rules and like
Mm.
it's all happening when I'm giving exams. But that was very easy, helpful for me, sir. Actually, that rule was.
Okay, so the one more thing which is very important for from the perspective of an FMG student is that in the examination hall, many FMG students do a lot of silly mistakes. I think you go to any FMG teacher, he will say that minimize your silly mistakes and you sail through the exam. And obviously, you might have also faced some silly mistakes. But what was your strategy to minimize them?
Sir, actually, during my preparatory phase, when I gave my GTs, I used to change my options a lot, sir. And in some cases, it results where my 30 to 40 questions where I change the options will be incorrect. The first option, like always trust the first option, sir. That's the instinct. Like trust the instinct, sir. Like go with first option, sir. You can blindly go. Like after reading what during my exam, like the day before exam, I was just telling myself that I'm going to exam tomorrow and I'll be just reading the question and seeing the option, and whatever comes in my mind first, I'll just do that. I'll just go with that. I don't need to. But still, some people they'll change it and it happens. But I try to minimize it, sir. That's all.
Like solving GTs, does it help you to minimize such
Yes, sir. Yes,
tendencies
sir.
to relook at the
Yes,
answer,
sir. Yes, sir.
think
Actually,
illogically, and just keep changing the answers?
yes, sir. Definitely, sir. Actually, while every time giving GTs, I realize every mistake, sir.
Hmm.
So solving GTs are really helpful. Uh, at least in 1 and 2 weeks, sir. I think that will be very good, sir. Solving GTs.
Okay. So another silly mistake tendency from the student side is not reading the full question. While
Yes, sir.
reading the half question, they feel like, okay, I know, and the one of the
Yes,
options
sir.
clicks as an answer, so they mark it. You
Yes,
had
sir.
that tendency?
Yes, sir, I had that, but on I used to do that mistakes also, sir. But that's what on the day of exam, I just saying that I'll read each and every word and letter and even the options so that I don't make any that silly mistakes. Because in FMG, I've seen many questions that they'll twist a word in a different portion of the sentence. Some I might be reading a first line properly. In second line, there must be a different opinion of the answers,
Yeah.
so we make mistakes in that. But in FMG, on the day of exam, I was very sure that I'm going to read all the like every line and every word, so that I won't make any mistakes, any blunders on the
Okay. So
exam.
those who are following the method for their FMG and also following us on the YouTube, they're looking at all the interviews, and obviously they're one looking for inspiration. I personally believe that inspiration should come from within, that I need to do this exam because there's no other
Yes,
choice.
sir. Yes, sir.
Once it settles in that, okay, I need to do this exam, after that there is no need for an external motivation.
Yes,
But
sir.
the second thing that they will be looking from the student interviews is some suggestions or tips from the seniors that will guide them to have a proper plan for their exam. So what tips you would like to give them?
Sir, I will suggest that, as I said before, like we shouldn't leave any subjects. Like at least they should do something of everything in all subjects. That's the only key. That's the only motto. And on day of exam, many students, even including me, sir, like they get stressed a lot, and they even do blunders on the questions on the topics which they are strong.
Very familiar with.
Yes, sir. So, like on the day of exam, you have to just be calm. Try to be calm as much as we can, and at least we can do well in the papers. And solving, as I said before, is doing GTs and solving Q banks is the main key, sir. Along with the revision, these solving questions and is the main key, sir. Because I felt that however we studied, they can twist us in anything. So that question solving skill is a much important factor here. So
That question solving skill we develop subconsciously by solving more and more questions,
yes, sir.
not
Obviously, sir.
merely by reading. I think probably you agree with me on this. Okay. So before we sign off, a few more points from the perspective of students. So
Yes,
I think from the perspective of faculty as well as someone who has cleared FMG, all of us agree that solving questions is important, giving
yes.
GTs is important, and understanding core concepts from the theory is also important. But how do we split the time? Like, see, 50% on reading theory, 50% on QBank, like that. So what was your split?
Sir, actually, they should give equal amount of importance. Uh, they should equal amount of importance for everything, sir. Because even reading a much theory will help us in solving questions, and solving questions will make us realize that okay, that theory what we studied, it will help, it will
Applying this one on
improvise.
that. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So giving equal time for everything is very important, sir. And they should plan according, sir. If there is a time of 6 months, and they should segregate the days in like first
Yeah.
60 days. 50 to 60 days. I'll go for first read, and second 30 days I'll go for second proper second read, and last 40 days I'll do my two revisions in that. So it comes around three revisions, sir. So that will be very helpful, sir.
Yeah, I think that's a good split of time
Yes,
also.
sir.
So
Yes, sir.
obviously students can weigh in depending on their comfort on a subject. For some
Yes, sir.
subject, they may give more days. For some subject, they can give less days depending on what is their current level of preparation. But that's
Definitely, sir.
great. So guys, students, my strong suggestion is that apart from Ashwin's opinion, I think you have seen so many other interviews of students who have cleared FMG. Few points emerge consistently from the success story of all the FMG students. Number one, be consistent. Start preparation right from your MBBS days so that you don't have to go through a very stressful phase once you get back to India and then start preparing for FMG. So you don't need to be like purely like what I would say mad about FMG exam from your second year, but start understanding the concepts. So if your foundation is strong, then it is only a 4 to 5 months preparation that is required to sail through this exam. I think Ashwin agrees on this, right? That's
Yes, sir.
what
Definitely.
most of the success stories speak about. Second, right from the beginning, start spending time on the question solving also, because that gives you the skill of solving the questions. And by the time you complete your MBBS, you would have minimized the tendencies to do silly mistakes, and also you would have subconsciously gained skills to dissect through options and how to come out with a logical right answer. Third one, choose a source which you can, as Ashwin pointed out, right? You should be able to give two reads and at least 2 to 3 quick revisions in the time span available. So don't choose a resource which is too vast, which you cannot complete it at the same time. At the same time, it should be appropriate enough for the exam and your level of understanding. So with this, I hope that in the upcoming FMG exams, we will see bigger success stories, larger pass percentage, because for a teacher, it is even more satisfying to see 50, 60% pass percentage, or great if it is like 100% pass percentage. They're seeing an upward trend. They gone are the days where it used to be 8%, 7%. Now it is 20%. But I want to see that definitely cross 50% in the upcoming exam. And these are the points that are going to help you. So hopefully me and Ashwin today have given you some motivation. At the same time, also some thought process to strategize a custom plan for yourself. Make a plan, stick to it, and hopefully I will be interviewing you guys in the next exam session. Ashwin, congratulations again. Convey our regards from the PW Medit family to your parents as well. And I would like to interview you again post your NEET PG exam. So
Yes. Thank
continue
you.
your journey learning the medical subjects. Don't break the streak. This is very important because once you finish your FMG and come back, right now you feel like, okay, I've done an exam. Obviously, it is time to relax. Take your time, relax, have a family time. But
Definitely.
you are in the groove and you are in the flow. So somewhere, whenever you get 10, 15 minutes time, hit some Cuba and keep solving the questions. Stay in the groove so that again, your NEET PG also doesn't become a burden and it just becomes a butter smooth flow. So with that, we are signing off this
Sir,
session, guys.
sir,
We will be bringing up more
before
sessions soon.
signing
Stay
off, can I
connected.
say one thing, sir? Sir,
Yeah,
I would like to thank my parents and my
absolutely.
friends in college, sir. And also a friend. We both studied together, sir. His name is Dr. Yeramba Vigneswar. He
Yeah,
secured
I think Sandeep
200.
interviewed him a
Yes,
couple
sir.
of
Yes,
weeks
sir.
back.
He secured 203 in FMG. We both studied together, and I think this this combined study, I think without
Absolutely.
it wouldn't have worked, sir. I guess. So I'm really thankful to him also, and all the supporters like from my family side and everything.
There are two places where absolutely having a study partners having a partner makes a lot of difference. One is when you're preparing for an exam, and the other one is when you go to gym. These are two
Yes,
places where having a partner makes a lot of
definitely, sir. I
difference
accept, sir.
because
So
they not only become an indirect mentor, but also I personally believe that the way our friends can make us understand complex topics, sometimes even the best of
definitely,
best
sir.
teachers cannot.
Definitely, sir.
Because you people are in the same shoes.
Same.
So
Yes,
they
sir.
can easily understand your difficulties. Now, as a teacher, it's a long process for me to understand why are you not able to understand a particular topic, because I know many things. So for me, it seems easy.
Yes,
So
sir.
having a good study partner, apart from good resources, is
Yes, sir,
absolutely
definitely, sir.
good.
Actually, whatever mistakes I made, he was correcting me, and whatever mistakes he was making, I was correcting him. And also, he was my close friend since my school days. Sir. We from school time till college, we studied together, and so that even I think that worked even more better during this preparation for FMG. So I would like to
So,
thank him also, and I think without
so
him, it would
starting
be.
from school to being interviewed on the meded,
Yes, sir.
so you're together. Great
Yes,
journey.
sir. Really, sir. It's actually it's a good feeling. Yes, sir.
Okay, so guys, we are signing off. Okay, so if you have any more queries or if you want any help from Ashwin's side, you can ping me on my Telegram and I will definitely put it across Ashwin. And if he has a reply, I will definitely post it on the social media. Signing off, guys. I'll see you all again in the next interview. Lot more success stories to follow. Bye bye.
Thanks.
Bye, Ashwin. Bye.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.